Now then, people, good evening, and welcome back to the Just Joe football show. You've got myself, Joe and Lockie, three goated content creators, if I do say so myself, three content creators that mesh well together and can have a conversation. Big up to those two lads. We'll say hello in just a sec. Before we do though, smash a like on the video. I know it's not 5 minutes yet, but you're allowed. Subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. This came to me this morning, a little bit of an epiphany. I thought, right, okay, winners and losers. Let's do a video later on tonight. Obviously, Leeds United took a 27-man squad out to Germany. We've only got one pre-season game left. That'll be Valencia, which normally the week before at home is like your 11 that you're more than likely to see going into that first game. So what we wanted to do is just have a chat. Like, we don't have to run through each man, but just have a chat about pre-season and who were the winners and losers, right? So, for example, you know, we might be looking at a new number 9 starting the season as opposed to one that a lot of us thought we might get, and he actually might be further down the pecking order. I don't want to give too much away, but you get what we're getting at. And just have a, you know, there was youngsters that have come into the squad that actually you go, nah, they can have a place on the bench for sure. I won't mind actually seeing them, you know, against, you know, coming off the bench against Portsmouth, you know. So there's all them little things. So that's what I wanted to do, go through the winners and the losers of pre-season. Before we do, though, let's just have a chat with the lads. Lockie, I'll come to you first because I feel like I haven't spoken or seen you for a long time, I don't think. Are you all right?
Yeah. I don't know how long it's been, actually.
It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, it has.
That's a while, actually. Fair, yeah. I'm all right, mate. Yeah, just plodding along. In the middle of moving house still. That'll be done by the end of next weekend. So, did it on the hottest week, didn't we? So,
Not the wisest. I've been out today. I went to the beach and forgot how much fish and chips cost, for fuck's sake. So
it's gone up, hasn't it? Yeah.
Why? It was only me and the two girls, and it was fucking £29. It's not on, is it? It's not on. Is
I went to the cinema last night to see Deadpool, and I got, and it's Omniplex Cinema in Ireland.
We've
and
just
you have
got
to pre-order.
Got that here. Yeah.
Oh, cool. You have to pre-order everything. Right, so when you get there, so I'll pick up the food when I get there, and they send you to this kiosk to order your food, and then you go over to another kiosk to collect it. So I picked like medium-sized box for the pick and mix, and when I get over, now I'm not messing when I say it's that size, and it was €6.50 for that. And I remember saying to the girl, going, "You get about 4 sweets in that." She goes, "Oh no, you can squish them all down if you want." It's like, it's that size, and you're calling it a medium. You're messing. Yeah. £6. It was, and their Ben and Jerry's was £6 for like a small, tiny little half tub. Like,
well, I took the kids to Despicable Me 4, and I had the same issue. Like, it was $14.99 for a mix and match, which was like 2 medium-sized drink. No, 2 medium cokes and a large popcorn. And when they came, I went, "Is that large?" Yeah, you did say large because that doesn't look large, but joke.
Scam, isn't it?
Yeah. Big time, mate. It's too expensive to live right now. But anyway, that's for another stream and for another day, I think, isn't it? But Joe, outside of the cinema, how are you? I'm going to go watch that this week on my own, actually. I don't do enough things on my own, but I really want to see that, and I've got no one to go with, and I went, you know what, I'm fucking going on my own. I don't care. Is it good?
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah, there is one post-credit scene at the very, very end, so hang around for that. Right, but it's... Won't spoil it. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. It's a ton of Easter eggs and stuff in all movies as well, and way back stuff. It's an excellent movie. But yeah, we went for a walk with the dogs today as well. So we went out to the river, down to a place called the Ramparts in Navan, which is a kind of a country walk beside the main river. So I did that today, and the dogs are passed out downstairs, and I'm knackered as well. So lazy evening ahead.
Yeah, good. So we're all good then. We're all in a good place. Excited for the season then, lads. Like, it's like, you know, Valencia next week, and then we're away, aren't we? I can't wait, me, honestly. I cannot wait.
Same, man. I'm annoyed, though, because I didn't have the financial thing to go at the first game for, like, the first time in years this year.
Really?
So I'm a bit gutted, yeah. Usually go at the first one. Usually manage to get tickets, but...
Are you going to Valencia? Are you going to the friendly now?
I thought that either. I've got trains and all that. It's like £50 a person. It's crazy.
Of course. No, of course it is. Joe, have you got any time booked over to come over anytime soon or not yet?
Well, I'm unemployed, so I have to figure.
You're not,
out
man. You're a YouTuber now. That's it. You're a YouTuber.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm being paid by the 49ers to push propaganda as well. I've been getting.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's great. That Red Bull money starts coming in, Joe. Then I'll be over.
Well,
I'm in.
Apparently, the way that I go on, I was getting it for a period of time. I don't know what they were paying me for, to be honest, because I don't think it was promotion. I tell you that much. Yeah, it is what it is, mate. Honestly. Right. Okay. Let's talk about. Someone just mentioned this shirt. I did realise he had it on, and I thought, "Fucking hell, you haven't had it off yet. Should I change it?" And I was like, "Nah, we'll give it one more go. Have you got it, lads? Have you got the new shirt?
Not arrived yet, mate. Yeah,
is it not? Oh, really?
Got it on my day as well.
Yeah.
Not here yet.
I got mine on the day, and it was here by Friday.
It can take Leeds sometimes. The last 2 years, it's taken weeks for stuff to get here. Usually, it used to be a couple of days. Now it takes forever. Their new fulfillment partner is, but last year's shirt took a month nearly to get here. By which stage I could have ordered it on Wish and gotten it by the same amount of time or DHgate. But yeah, it'll be here at some point. But I look forward to it.
They've got a week or so to be here anymore. Somewhere else.
Yeah. I think as well they're telling us that white one's going to get released this week. That white drill toppy jumpery thing. I don't know, but that looks that looks amazing.
Am I in a cave? Am I audio crap? Is it?
Or is it me?
Was it me?
Do I sound okay?
You sound okay. Someone said something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh right. Okay. I think it's because of the black.
Dark.
It's just because of the black. Yeah.
No,
basically, you just look like a floating head, Joe.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
There you
go. Right, okay. So I don't want to go through the squad. I just want to say let's all pick a loser first, and then we'll pick a winner, and then we'll go back and forth like that. Just have a chinwag, really. But yeah, someone says my mic is rough. Is it? Fox?
No, I don't think so.
I'll turn it down a bit, Ash. I'll turn it down. If I turn it down and then get told it's too fucking low, honestly, you can never get it right, can you? So I'll start us off with the biggest loser, and I think that's Pat. Personally. I was quite surprised listening to Inside Ellen Road podcast when this was before Schalke, where Joseph got on the score sheet again. But, Graham Smith said it was 45% that Joseph would start, and I was a bit like, really? I'm not sure who can start above him. Now, of course, he's then gone and scored again against Schalke, looked really good doing it. So I think, Pat, for me, is the biggest loser because, he's injured again, right? He's probably going to get some minutes against Valencia, but not a lot, because I think Farke will want to see his proper squad and get them ready, some more game time. I don't think we'll see wholesale changes at half time. I think it might be a 70-minute job kind of thing. So I think what this has done is just moved, and this will probably make a lot of people happy, but for Pat, it's just moved him further down the pecking order, I think. And if Leeds United, I don't think they are, but if they were to be in the market for another striker, perhaps as a loan, from the Prem, it just moves him further down. So I think the biggest loser for me would be Pat Bamford. Does anyone have any thoughts on Pat? Is he riding bench? Will he make the squad even?
I think so. I just don't think there's any rush on him. I think the fact that Joseph is in showing really good form so far in pre-season means that we don't have to worry about having Pat for the first day of the season. He can take a couple more weeks. I don't think everybody realises, and I didn't realise this either till a week or so ago, that Bamford actually had surgery after the season finished on that knee problem that he had. So that's what's taking him time to get back. And I think they're doing the right thing, where every other year we've kind of had to have him ready for the start of the season. So we've rushed him. And he's broken down within a week or two of the start of the season. I think this time around, they're taking a much slower approach to it and go, let's just get him right. We don't need to put him back in straight away. We've got Pirro if we need him. We've got Georgie. We've got Joseph. We've got options there if he doesn't need to start. So we didn't have him for the bulk of last season. So why rush it, But I agree. I think from a perspective of pre-season, the fact that he hasn't got minutes in, and this is a very new look Leeds side. It's starting to look like a different team from last season. So I think he is kind of falling down that pecking order, which I think is a good thing in a way, not because of anything against Pat, but because there should be a natural changing of the guard in that position at some point. And Joseph coming through now as the hot young prospect, now starting to deliver on the pitch on a regular basis. replacing the older school guy who's coming towards the end of his career or the twilight of his career. So for me, there's no rush on this, but I think, missing the preseason puts him right down the pecking order. I think it puts him behind Pirro, but I have Pirro down as one of my losers for preseason as well, because outside of his goal, I don't think he's done enough.
We'll segue straight over, mate. Talk to us about Pirro.
I don't think he's active enough. I don't think he's busy enough. I don't think he's involved enough. When he is involved, he's fine, but he's not involved in the game enough. If you look at, I know he said against the Harrogate game about Gelhardt, but Gelhardt yesterday as well, very involved, looked to get on the ball an awful lot, was looking to get strikes away, which is great. You want to see that. Joseph is all over the place trying to get involved in the game now. I thought the entire side looked leggier yesterday than they had done in the previous game. They looked a lot more tired, which is not a bad thing for preseason. It means they're working hard. But Pirro just didn't stand out to me. It's a lovely finish for the goal, but outside of that, I don't know what else he did on the park. I don't know if you win 20 games 1-0 and Pirro scores the goal in every single one of them, you'll forgive everything else that he does. But I think in the style of play that Leeds play, he needs to be involved in the game, and it's quite difficult for me to understand how a player can consistently not be involved in the game when on the pitch. Like, it's not like it's a dodgy game. He seems to be able to find space on the pitch where the game isn't taking part in that part of the pitch, if that makes sense. Like, he's on the edges all the time. I still think he's going to have a very good season for us, but right now he wouldn't be in my starting 11, and I think that's why, for me, he's lost out in preseason, just based on there's an opportunity there for you to come in now and smash preseason and really put a marker down and going, right, I've had a year on my belt, I'm ready to go. And you haven't done that. Matteo has, Joffe has to a degree. You haven't. You're kind of exactly where you were last year for me. Outside of this time last year, I was excited because we were getting the top goal scorer in the championship for the last couple of years. But now we've seen him for a year. I'm like, I want to see more from him. I didn't see enough yet so far.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Go on, Lockie, mate.
Just on the front four, I think the competition there right now is ridiculous. When have we ever had this much competition in three positions? It is really, really healthy, especially on the wings, and up front. The thing, and that's, Joe mentioned it as well, the competition for Pat has never been there. And to have a striker that's really hardly ever fit in the last 4 or 5 years, he's had that actually all his career, to be fair, Pat, really. And to not have someone behind him who is capable in this side until now is quite criminal from a recruitment perspective. And that's someone coming from working in that field. You've got an injury-prone player in one position. Why have you not got an obvious backup? You can't just rely on, he might be fit this year. History says not. You can't rely on that. And I'm so glad that we all wanted Matteo Joseph to really put his foot down this pre-season. And he has, hasn't he? He's really took that opportunity. And not only that, he looks like a beast as well. He looks much bigger than he did. He's ready.
If we say that, Pat, we don't even have to go on to... So, do we all agree, having seen pre-season, that Matteo Joseph is the biggest winner, of pre-season thus far?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think of others, yeah.
I've really liked Joe Rothwell as well, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think the thing for me with Joseph, and a lot of people are using it as in my comments anyway, I can't speak for everyone, but a few people have mentioned it or used it as a stick to beat Farker with last season. If only he'd have used him, then we'd have got where we were. But listen, I love Joseph, but I can see a distinct difference in the way that he's playing in these games. He even looks bigger, I feel, anyway. He's gone off pre-season, he's really worked on it. And, listen, I know we didn't see a lot of him, so is it fair to make that? Because when he did play against Chelsea, he was amazing. But I just think, those that say he was ready, you've also got to take into consideration that doing what Farker did last season's also enabled him to get to this level.
Pushed him to this point. Yeah. It's motivated him. And he's that type of character. He loves that. He loves motivation. He loves people challenging him, and he likes to prove people wrong. And that's the challenge. And he is in this position now. If you think about last season, all we won, there was so many problems last season. There were so many good things. The fact of the matter is, he's in pre-season now. He looks like a beast. It looks like he could score so many goals next season. And he's playing really well. Look, I'll be honest. Look, watching him, there's times where, certainly when he's kind of 1v1, Matteo Joseph in wide area, I think he does slow it down a bit too much at times, where you could just drive past him because he's got that ability. And these are things he still needs to work on. It's not the perfect article. But what you've seen is a guy come back from pre-season and is there saying, look, I want to start, and I love that. And Farker will love that.
Yeah. You can't put a case forward for anyone else at the minute, can you, Joe, in terms of starting over Mateo? Like, if he doesn't start with Mateo, I'll be shocked.
You want a striker that is in form. You want a striker that has got bags of confidence. You want a striker that fits your system and is busy and involved. And Mateo is tick, 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 tick. Yeah. Every single one of those boxes come into him. If you don't start it, now again, there's still the Valencia game to get past, and then they've got they'll be feeling it getting back next week after this week that they've had. They already look like they're pretty leggy, as I said. They'll be feeling that when they come back. There'll be a lot of recovery stuff this week as well. The hard stuff is done. It's now preparation and getting ready for the season. They'll do a bit of stuff next week as well. But come back into that Valencia game, if he starts in that game, which I think, again, you will see pretty much, I think, the 11 that Farke is ready to put out the first game of the season against Valencia. You got that point of pre-season. I think once he does that, Mateo's in that starting line if he starts. But again, 3 goals in 2 games against 2 reasonably good sides. You're playing a Portsmouth side who are not that good on paper. You start him. If you're ever going to back the kid,
it's now, isn't it?
This is it. This is the moment. If you don't do it now, I think he looks to move out on loan or moves away, because he's that kind of, he knows he's ready. He's talking about, he feels he's competing on the same level as Bamford and Pirro. There's a lot of experience and a lot of history where both those players have. He thinks he's at that level. Great. Now the next thing is, does Farke think he's at that level? And if he does, he has to put him in and he has to give him minutes. Yeah. Last year we couldn't. And last year I defended the fact that Farke wasn't using him as much and starting him because it was a case of Leeds was so far behind at one point. Farke has to win every single game. He can't afford to be sentimental and give someone a crack. He just can't do that. He has to go with what he knows. But I think he's bigger. He's fitter. He's faster. He seems far more determined. The club seems to be pushing him forward as a figure in the club as well. Like he's on the media stuff as well. So I mean, if you're ever going to pull the plug on a young prospect that's coming through, it's right there. It's right there in front of you now. Don't overthink this and don't miss it. Put him in.
What constitutes? I know he's young, but like what constitutes like a good season and a great season? Like goals wise, I'm talking contributions here. Do you know what I mean? Like, is 10 all right, or are we saying, come on, get 20, get 15 to 20, you know, or am I asking too much?
Assuming he's fit, obviously. Say he plays 40 games. I think anywhere between it's like 22. Like to not be overzealous, he'll get a few assists as well. Yeah, to get around that kind of 12 to 18 markish, somewhere in there for a 19, 20-year-old in the Championship, for me, is enough. I think that's very impressive. That would be, I believe, our top goal scorer from last year if he got the higher end of that. And I think he's a type of player. But for me, he will score a similar type of goal, and it will be the goal he's been scoring in pre-season. So me, it's how many times can we get in that position? That combination is brilliant. Yeah. How many times can you get in that position? I won't put it past him getting 20. I also don't know, again, none of us know how he'll deal with the pressure later on in the season when it gets really tough. We don't know that. He could go on a 10-game without a goal. He could. It's Championship. It can do that to you. But the quality of the player, how much has improved, I wouldn't be surprised if he got 12, 13, 14. I honestly wouldn't. Like I said, could be more as well. It could be less. But I think around there would be good for him. I think it'd be a good season for him.
The fact that we're having this convo, Joe, and as we're all saying it, I could see us all getting a little bit giddy. Just shows how excited we are with Mateo. What are you wanting? You said more. I'm trying to find numbers on last season as well. Like, go on, mate.
Pirro had 16 goals involvements last year, 13 goals, 3 assists. Yeah. And that's a reasonably good season for him, considering he played 42 games, but there's a load of games off the bench and that he didn't start. If Mateo starts as your out and out number 9, Lockie's 100% correct. There are going to be moments this year where he goes through a dry spell. Every striker does, and that's when you get behind them, because again, strikers are confidence players. And if you start slating them, it does the opposite effect of what you want it to have. I think 20 is a reasonably strong first season, but if he is leading the line and wants to be continuously leading the line, I think Lockie's right. I think you're looking at 30 plus, and that's goal involvements all up. And that's possibly even using the American example of you have the assist and then the assist, which is the one before the move, the pass just before to give out 2 of them. As long as he's involved in goals and is a focal part of the build-up, I think he'll get a huge amount of credit. But I think if you want him to be the number 9, if he gets close to 30 goal involvements, whether that's 20 assists and 10 goals or whatever way you want to break it down, that's a phenomenal season. I think if he gets 20, it's a really good season.
Yeah.
But you will need
also,
goals from elsewhere.
Yeah, and performance is important as well, isn't it? Because obviously, like you said, Joe Pro got, what was it, 15, 16 in the league? I think it was quite a lot.
Yeah, 16.
But we're all sitting here saying he didn't have a great season in terms of performance. So Mateo Joseph could, look, he could score 10 goals, but he could have an unbelievable season. He could be part of every build-up. He could have assists as well. He could be really grasping the team and stretching the team all the time. Or he could get 20 goals and hardly touch the ball in a game. That's football. It's about getting the most effective way out of him. I think we're seeing a lot of it now. I think stretching the team, kind of running them wide areas is quite good, but needs to be a bit more decisive in their areas. But anywhere around that box, he'll get there. He has missed one or two this preseason, let's be real, but he gets there. And Bogle finds him, and Furpo will find him. Georgia will find him. Rothwell will find him. Again, these corners are going in the box now, a little deflection anywhere in there. And is he there? Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, 50, I'm going to go 15, but I'm just looking forward to watching him, mate.
Yeah,
we've got a 20-year-old Spanish under-21 international that's come back an absolute beast. Yeah. What's not exciting?
There's other bits to it as well, like outside of his goals, which have been good. Like the finish he got yesterday was an instinctive finish, takes deflection. He still manages to react and get his head on the end of it. It's a lovely finish. But there was a couple of, like you said, he's right. There was a couple of misses as well. But one of the misses I actually really liked was in the first half. I think it was Nanto got right to the end line or Bogle and smashed it. And out of nowhere, he just appeared at the front post and just hit the side netting with the ball. And you're like, that's that near post run that I was talking about in the previous game. He keeps making that run. He is going to score a shit ton of goals in that position, because that goalkeepers just do this when they get to that position in that area of the goal. So if he gets a nick on it, it's going under the keeper or around the keeper. He'll get a lot of goals. But he was millimeters away from turning that ball into the back of the net, and it was battered at him. Like that was hit at him with serious pace. He wasn't the target for that ball, but he was like, I'm taking it anyway. And I love that. That shows a player who's really hungry to get on the end of everything. He's got a point to prove this year. He's clearly got to be in his bonnet about last year. He clearly feels he should be on the pitch more. I'm excited though. They're the little things that I look for. It's not necessarily the goals, because the goals are fine, but it's preseason. You're not going to be in perfect form.
Of course, yeah.
But are you making the right runs? Are you getting involved? Are you looking confident in the right areas? And for me, he's doing all the right things right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. He's been great and a real revelation. Come on, Jay, give us your loser. I went with Pat. I know we've segued all over the shop, but do you have a loser? Or if you don't, we can talk about one of the winners.
Well, I had Pirro as well. I think Dan James as well I have down at the moment, because he's missed out on the last two games, but he was very good against Harrogate, and I was really excited to see him starting the season. The fact that he's missed 2 games puts him possibly down the pecking order, but they've decided to rest him for the last game, and because this adductor thing that he's got, that's 2 games he's missed with the adductor strain. I'm getting worried about adductor strains already, so I don't want to see that at the start of the season. So I think, Dan's missed out on the preseason, which is a shame, because this is an exciting looking Leeds team that play an exciting brand of football. I think he would thrive in this team.
Yeah,
and I think Rothwell's going to pick him out with balls into space all day long.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then we look at some of the performances, like Nanto, for example. Nanto's performed really, really well. And then it's like, and he's done a lot of running, and then it's like, well, where's James fitting in? When's he's going to have competition on his hands to get back in? And Lockie, do you have anyone you want to pick out as a...
I was going to mention Max Vober. Again, look, he's been here less time than anyone else. He's just come off his holidays, had a long season with the Euros as well. Australia did quite well. But the fact of the matter is, if he's staying, which is seeming to be so, there's not much talk at the moment, is there? He's had that conversation with Farker. If he is staying and we do play 2 centre-backs, he's not starting. And I think that would be a big shock for him. That would be okay, right, I have to work here, because Rodon's, especially I thought last game, I thought Rodon was really good. And Strauch has been solid, and he's getting back to fitness. Remember, Strauch's been out for months, so we have to remember that.
He's missed a lot of football, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, But Wober's not starting over him. I thought he looked a little sluggish yesterday, a little aggressive. He's not sharp yet, and I'm going to be fair to him.
He was too overzealous, weren't he? He kept getting out of position.
And that's timing, that's fatigue, that's concentration. It's fine. Like, he'll be better than that. Obviously he will. He's better defender than that. But right now, he needed to come in and stamp his authority on the side, and He hasn't really. Again, there's another game left still, and there's still loads of training to go. But Rober, from being one of the better players in the better defenders in the Bundesliga last season, might not even start centre back for Leeds United if we play it back too.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of work to do.
He does, mate. You're right. I'm just looking through the list here. Bamford, Pirro, Gelhardt, Joseph Gray, Rutter, Somerville. Can we talk about Somerville? First and foremost, I seen Joe's response to this tweet, and it was bang on the money, by the way. Yeah. This person who's put this out on Twitter, that people are then
Leeds United Ireland.
Where's it even come from? Like, why?
So, Leeds United Ireland put this tweet out, and first things first, they don't represent anybody in Ireland. Let's be very fucking clear on this, because as an Irish person, I don't even follow that account, right? But they're Leeds United Ireland, and they put this out saying that he has had discussions with the club and has told the club he's happy to stay, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, didn't happen, not real.
Yeah.
Right?
Where's it? Like, they haven't even put a source. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. It's just someone looking for clicks. And I said this today on Twitter. I get to this point every year where I'm like, I'm sick of looking at this. Someone else put a Ryan Kent one up. And again, if you can't look at that tweet, I'm going to get my high horse here in my soapbox for a second. If you can't look at that tweet and click the name of the person that posted it to see how many followers they have and who they actually are, you're the one that's at fault, not them, because you're the one that clicked it, right? If you can't do your homework and find out if that's a real tweet or not, that's on you, nobody else. That tweet from them is going to gaslight a section of 100%. Our fan base. And the second that he loses, but he said he wasn't going to go anywhere. He never said that. No. He said he wasn't going to push for a move earlier in the summer. That was it. There had been no discussions with the club. He missed the last game with an injury. There's no talk. That Farkas said straight after the game yesterday, he still expects the player to be linked to other players, other clubs. Mm-hmm. He wants them to be linked with other clubs, because if they're being linked with other clubs, then we're in a good place. We've got good players, and we want to have good players. He said he'd more worry if they weren't linked. So it's a bullshit post that's come from a page that should know better with the amount of followers that they have than to put that kind of stuff out there. But they clearly want the clicks, and they clearly want the follows, because they're following the rest of these ITK gobshites like Joe Tiffany and all these morons that have these fucking things out there that all they do is wind up a fan base. But again, if you're the fan that gets wound up by something that one of those people have said, and you haven't clicked to follow that thread to see what is this story, it takes maybe 30 seconds. Then you're responsible for making yourself annoyed. Yeah. But I'm sick of seeing them every single day. Someone else goes, Leeds have been linked with Ryan Kent. They haven't been. And they haven't been for 3 years, by the way. They haven't been interested in Ryan Kent since Marcelo Bielsa left the club.
Yeah.
Haven't. Not once. Sorry.
I got tagged in it as well. And then, to be honest, I don't mind getting tagged. I'm really grateful those people tagged me. I'm not having a go at them. But I then looked at the comments, and then the comments are like, great news this. What a lad. Oh, buzzing. And I'm like, but how do they know that? Who they spoken to? It's like, come on, man. It's bullshit. And like you say, people then get excited. But he said this, and it's like, I don't think he did, like, to be honest. But anyway, do we all... Day.
I'd love him to, but
Sim. Do we think he was injured, or am I putting tinfoil hat on and saying?
I think he was, because they pulled James out of the game as well. They pulled a few out of the game, and he was in the go-kart picture the day before. Did the go-kart the day before, and he was there. So I don't.
So when did he get his? I mean, what injury did he have?
I don't know. So he had a bit of a strain or something. He was feeling. They decided to keep him out of the game.
Should you be riding go-karts injured?
You shouldn't be riding go-karts at all in the preseason. I think it's a very bad idea. And apparently somebody else got hurt as well, so it's not a great idea.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. Yeah. I remember my mate, Tom Clark, he used to have to ask Huddersfield Town permission to play for school football team and that, because do you know what I mean? So, it's mad. Yeah. It's mad. So, I suppose
if you get injured, who pays the insurance cost on that? But were you playing football? No, I was in a go-kart. Well, then you're not covered.
Yeah, that's fair. Somerville, I don't want to say he's a loser because he's looked sharp, but do you think Leeds United should be starting him while this is going on, just because he is that good, or?
I think it's come first game of the season and he's here and he's not on the verge of leaving. You
have to start him.
Yeah, win you the game.
Has he started in any game yet, though, Lockie? He hasn't, has he?
No.
He's not started in any game yet this pre-season.
No.
No.
Didn't start last game. Didn't play Hanover. Did he start Harrogate? Did he?
No, he didn't. Neither Mononto started in that one.
And you've got to be sensible, right? You've got to prepare for what if he's not there. And I think that is what Farke's. Yeah, that's what Farke's doing. Some of the other side player that, let's be honest, like you don't really need to work much with him. You know what he's going to bring to the side. You know what he can do, so he can kind of just slot back in, kind of like Firpo can for me. But yeah, he hasn't, and that's clearly Farke knows he could go. He said it in his press conference. He knows that. He's not stupid to that. So he's going to try things out, and he's trying to figure ways without Somerville. If Somerville stays after the window, Farke made the mistake last year probably that Sinistera started that first game. And if you're thinking he was going to stay, and we all did at a point, let's be honest, until the final day. You train all week with Sinistera part of that, and then he leaves, and suddenly you need to do something else. So Farke knows now. He's like, right, you're here, but I'm going to try other people because there is lots of transfer talk. Does he stay? I still don't know, mate. I have no idea. If someone pays the money, no, but will they? I saw something, a West Ham channel, I think they've got a lot of followers, were saying that they can't afford him now.
So they're getting Reece Nelson, aren't they, instead?
Who's affording him? It still could be Liverpool later on for me. I still think that's one to watch potentially. Yeah.
Has to be a top 6 club, or else
it seems...
I don't even think Liverpool have started their business yet, by the way. They hadn't even signed anyone Liverpool.
That's one to watch. Yeah, he still do it there, couldn't he, I think?
Yeah.
But what's the value now? Around 40 million, I think it is?
About 40 million, yeah. I think he's too expensive for Liverpool. I really do think he's too expensive. I think Liverpool will go, here's 30, plus a young player. And we'll be like, no. And they'll be like, well, here's 32. No, we're not. Then we're out.
Give us Ben Dorkin some cash, and then we'll be sound.
Give us Connor Bradley and some cash, and I'll take it off you. No problem. There's a right back sorted for a couple of years' time. Who's going to be a top right back at some point? Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see. I seen Sky Sports Pete chatting shit about Rutter again, saying that they're going to go in for a second bid. Ryan, my mate, who's pretty well connected at Brighton, was a bit like, I don't know where this is coming from, but then again, do you reckon Sky Sports Pete has ever worked at Sky Sports?
No,
I don't think he has either. I genuinely don't think he has. I just wonder if maybe he worked at Setanta Sports for a couple of months or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Honestly, I'm counting the days. Every day Rutter's here, because every day that goes past, he's still here. There's no links. That's good for me. What do you think? What do you guys think of him this preseason? I think, especially yesterday, it was really good.
Yeah,
when he found them spaces out wide, wow.
And he kept the shots down and he hit the target, which is the most important thing. Because if the keeper drops it, then that's where Joseph will be to tap it in. I guarantee you, if a keeper fumbles the ball this year, Matteo Joseph will be standing on his toes waiting for the ball to come back off him. And if George is doing those kind of things, I think he's been brilliant for us. And he looks like he's having fun again.
Does he go down as one of the winners then, lads, from pre-season?
I think he's now and never, as much as he was already never present, I think he's, this time last year we were kind of going, oh, do we know what we're getting with this lad? Is he ready? Now you're like, yeah, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. So I think Ferbo's been a winner as well.
Yeah.
I think Ferbo's looked fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Up and down.
Looks so comfortable, doesn't he, in his role? Just knows it. Everything he does, he's doing it right. I think he is. I think he's took a little bit of a leadership side in
he
this
feels that
team. He really seems to take responsibility. Him. Can I just talk about Ampadu?
Do it.
I'm not a loser, but he's a bit neutral for me. I can't lie. I've not been impressed for his standard. I don't think he's played as well as he can. Obviously, he's got the new armband. I do think he's a little aggressive in games. I think maybe he's been tasked with being more aggressive, but maybe he's just teetering on getting too many fouls. I don't mind the ones where they're in transition. He fouls them. Obviously, you're going to do that. But I just think positionally, he's getting beat a little bit. Yeah, he's having to foul. I think there's still more to come from him, obviously. He's one of our best players when he does. But I don't think he's reached the heights he was last season yet. I think he's still got to get there. Look, it's a new role for him.
Do you think he's adapting to going back into midfield as well, Lockie?
Yeah, there's loads to it as well. They're not sharp, but just as an observation, he's not stood out in any game this season. I remember when he came last year in first preseason game, we're all going, he's ridiculous. So he's got to get back to that level because we need him. We need him to. But I think he will. I'm not concerned with that.
There's a few in the comments that have surprised me and say Farke sees him as a defender. He's going to play defence. We don't think that on here, do we?
He's not playing defence right now, so I don't know why he'd play in midfield. He's got. If he was going to go into the season with him not in midfield, then he starts Gruev and Rothwell and has a good gets them together and builds that partnership before the start of the season. The fact that he hasn't, I I agree with Lockie. I especially yesterday, I just thought he's slowing the game down too much. He's taking too many touches. He's this. Cooper used to do this a little bit as well, and it used to drive me nuts when he used to do it. And it's that slowly taking the ball out and rolling his studs on the ball going forward and pointing at everybody while he's doing it, and shouting at people. And you're like, dude, just get on with the game, pass it left, will you, so we can go around the far side. Like, what? It's not about you.
Rothwell's been doing it.
Yeah, Rob was like, give me the ball, bang, gone. Next ball, let's go. Where Ampadu's like, give me the ball, touch, point, kick it out of play. Yeah. And you're like, dude, just get the ball moving. Just get it moving. But I do agree with Lockie. I think one of the main reasons is the fact that he hasn't been playing in that position for most of last year. Yeah. Same with Pascal Stroke. I thought Stroke's passing looks a little bit rusty at the moment and a little bit lazy at times because he missed a huge amount of football. And that just takes time. That's muscle memory. That just takes time to get going again. But I think they'll both be fine. I think Amadou will be fine once the season gets going. But right now, I would agree with Lockie. I think he's in that bracket of he hasn't been outstanding. He hasn't stood out as one of the better players in the park. But he hasn't been one of the ones he'd be worried about either. But I think there's good competition in that midfield area right now without adding anybody else even because I like this new advanced Ilya Gruev run because he's getting in the box.
Yeah. Mad.
He nearly scored again yesterday. And again.
He loves it, doesn't he? He loves getting forward wherever you give him a chance.
Yeah.
That thing that I just said about goalkeepers dropping the ball from a shot. Yeah. If you look yesterday, Gruev nearly scored from that. He poked the ball back in again. He was on top of the keeper and you're like, I like this for because Gruev can hit a ball. We saw with the free kick they took against Southampton. He can hit a ball, but I'm liking it, and I'm slowly becoming a really big fan of what Joe Rothwell brings to that midfield as well. Yeah. 2 goal involvements in he's involved in both those goals. The quick free kick out to Bogle, that bending ball over the top is one very sharp thinking to do it quickly, and then secondly, to be able to get it right onto his toe. And then it's a lovely ball across from Bogle and then we get the goal from it. But the corner as well. Like, I hate short corners because usually end up going nowhere. But he sees a gap straight away and he puts the ball down, bang it straight into play. There's no messing about. And then the ball's put in the back for Pirro to score. So he's involved in both of those. And it's the speed in which he gets the ball going again. Like, he doesn't allow the game to settle. He doesn't allow the back line to get sorted and pick up people and get organised. Like, the longer you take about it, the better it is for defenders to go, well, everyone picking up someone, get your line right, everyone sorted, make sure we got everything covered. He's not letting anybody get into those positions. It's as soon as the ball is dead, he puts his hand on it and he moves it straight away. And that's going to be a huge difference, I think, for Leeds this year when he is in that team. I have no issue with Joe Rothwell starting in the middle of the park. Now, someone said to me on Twitter yesterday, but you can't guarantee he'll play 30 games of the season. But you can't guarantee anybody will play 30 games of the season. And he wouldn't have known. Kamara might not have got through 30 games. But from what I've seen so far...
we want another 8 as well, right? We're trying to...
Correct. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's been a big winner in this summer as well. I think he'll be brought in another midfielder earlier. We might not have seen as much of him. But I'm glad he's had the time because I really like what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah. Like Matteo in a way, he's doing everything he needs to prove to the manager, look, you might have had a different role for me then, but I'm doing everything you want me to. I'm getting assists. The tempo, Joe, you always mentioned, the tempo is quick. That's huge. Because of him. The way in which I remember the first game he came in, his passes are moving constantly. He's a good player. I've seen people say he's not good enough and all this. You talk to Southampton fans and Bournemouth fans, look, you talk to Sheffield United fans about Ampadu, they'll tell you he's the worst player ever.
Yeah, this is true.
People do better in different systems when they have different roles. He mentioned in his interview when he came here, he had a different role at Southampton, a different role at Bournemouth. When he was at Blackburn, 3-4 years ago, that was a role he loved where he could advance forward and he's part of that hub in midfield. And that's what he's doing now. Look,
that got him the move to the Premier League, didn't it, initially?
Exactly.
No.
I think he got 10 goal involvements that season. So we have to thingy that. Look, he's not going to do the extraordinary things, is he? He's not an 8 profile that does that, but he's an 8 profile that keeps the tempo high, picks out passes when he sees it. He won't hesitate. He'll do it. He did a really good ball cross field to the left. I can't remember who it was, but he just looked up and did it, and it's beautiful to the wing. And then we're in on the goal then. And who does that in our midfield? No one does that. Yeah, We've got a profile that does. Perfect,
And that's going to, when we talk about low blocks and stuff, that we've all these different profiles, different passes, they are going to enable it to open up. Like before, like we know, it became Somerville FC for a period. Now we've got Rothwell who can go, well, I've got Firpo on that side. Do you know what, though? Bogle's on that side. Did we talk about Bogle? Because he's fit like a hand in a glove, like straight off the bat. Like we said, he's already combined twice with Matteo Joseph. he's going to give us so much off that right-hand side than Archie did, or any right-back that we did, to be honest. We probably expected what was seen from Bogle from Spence, perhaps. We didn't get any of that, did we? So Bogle already, for me, I'm really, really excited. He's the one that excited. I know we hadn't been massive in the transfer window, but more so than Rothwell, I'm like, oh my God, Bogle's going to get so many goal involvements this season, I think, from that position. And I'm excited because it just gives us other options, you know. I think for defences, probably last 10 games, it was quite easy to play against Leeds United, as wild as that sounds, because it's like, predictable. We know what they're going to do. Whereas now, like you say, you've got Rothwell in midfield who can bam either side, and then you've got two fullbacks. You've got Mateo Joseph running the line, and you know, so many options now. But just on Bogle for the 4 million or 5 million, whatever it is, I think he's going to be a steal. And to think he's only 24 as well is a real plus from pre-season, a real winner, I think.
Chance to grow there as well. If Leeds do go up, a chance to grow with the team, which I think he's a good age. I thought he was one of Sheffield United's better players in a team that stank out the Premier League last year. They really did. They were awful to watch, but he was excellent. I thought he was one of the better players. Got goal involvements at that level as well, which means he can do it. Yeah. He won't probably cover you defensively as well as some, but that's why you've got your holding midfielders and your double pivot, and that's their job to help fill those gaps when he goes forward. So, but I don't see Leeds sitting back too much this year. But yeah, I think he's been very, very good. And I think the strikers and the fact that it gives a more narrower option with a winger as well to tuck in, so he has that width to get around. I think that gives you far more options there. And again, it comes down to the speed in which the ball is getting out to him. As long as it's in front of him, same with Nanto and James when he comes back. As long as the passes are in front of them so they can run into the space and then deliver quickly or make quick decisions, that's fine. If they're sideways and behind them, they've got to pick it up, turn around, slow it down, all that kind of crap. So yeah, as long as they can get the ball, which I think the players that they're building around them will do that. And the style of football we seem to be playing right now is designed about getting the ball in front of people. So, I mean, Bogle's going to be a huge asset.
Yeah, I think he can get 8, 9, 10 assists this season from that specific position as well. If we have the runners in the box and he gets in that position, he'll find them. And that's something we didn't really have as well. We had it with Firpo a bit, but we didn't have it on that side, like you already said. So, yeah, very happy with... we all was when we got him. We all knew what he'd be, and he is exactly that. And we've got to remember he's not even been here long, and he fits.
No,
I'm assuming in touch wood he stays fit. Imagine what he could be like in 2 or 3 months. I really like Jayden Bogle.
And his replacement at Sheffield United is injured, unfortunately. Jamie Shackleton went off with a bad injury yesterday.
I feel sorry for
weird that with Shaq, because he never had injuries, did he? But until the last 2 years, he's had loads. It's really weird.
Last 2 years, he has non-stop injuries.
Yeah, weird. He's always reliable. That was his thing.
Bielsa broke him, man. Sometimes Bielsa's training methods are too... I feel that there's just some... I don't know if it's ligaments or muscles or whatever that just can't handle that vigorous nature, and then afterwards they're just like, I'm snapped.
They're never the same again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the same. I mean, Click is the only one for me that I've seen playing still at a decent level. I mean, Bill had a bit of a blip last year before he got back playing well when he was at Middlesbrough, but even Cooper, the bulk of them have been injured since, and Pat Bamford just hasn't been the same at all since they've been consistently injured. So I think they all got broken by it. Yeah, but that was isn't that the failing of the board that we had at the time, because they were told 3 years and you must replace these players, and they didn't, and they pushed them to a 4th year, and they all broke down.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about some of the youth. James DeBayo, we took along. Luca Thomas, Charlie Crew, Sam Chambers, Harry Gray. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it from the list.
Harry Christie, the goalkeeper as well.
Yeah. Him or Alex Cairns haven't featured yet, have they? But just on the youngsters, I think a little hot tip to James DeBayo. I'll just chat on James DeBayo just because, prior to Germany pre-season, we're looking at it. We didn't think Voba was staying. I'm going, fucking hell, we've got 2 fit centre-backs. You now look at it, you've got Ampadu that can fill in there. Voba's sticking around. And then you've also got James DeBayo, who's an option, who, when he's come on in every pre-season game, I think looks solid. And I wouldn't be too concerned if, at the end of a game, we're like, oh, God, we need an option. Right, DeBayo's there, he can come on, shut it up, because we've had a few injuries. I just think, for me, we've got a really good squad, and then you want the youth to make up the rest of the numbers. And I look at James DeBayo, and you can speak on some of the other lads, but I look at him and go, right, we don't need to go out and get another centre-back. Whereas before Germany, I'm going, we need at least one centre-back to cover areas. And now I'm going, now we're cool. We can forget about that area for a bit.
Yeah, Daniel Farke loves a young centre-back. He loves having someone, especially with the height of Debayo as well. You think of Omar Banadelli, who we had, and then obviously, who's the guy before? Forgotten. I always forget his name. Godfrey. There we go.
Oh, Ben Godfrey.
These are just tall centre-backs who are good with the ball, who are quick. It's James Debayo. So it's a really good position, and I'm so glad that he has had some decent minutes as well. He's played quite a lot. He played, 60 minutes in the Harrogate game? He played half against Hanover.
He came on.
And obviously came on at the end of the Schalke game. But yeah, he's got a lot of minutes, which obviously shows that Farke wants to watch him. He wants to see more of him. He'll be involved in some way. I don't think he'll play a lot at all. But he'll have that role on the bench. And that's one to watch. I feel sorry for him because last year he was in and out of the squad. I think he had a lot of injury issues last year. I'm not sure why, to be honest, but he never played as much as he did the year before, where he was really good when he was 16, 17, really good for the 21s. But last year was a bit of, I don't know if it was injuries or, other players in that position were doing a bit better. But I really like the fact that he's got this chance this pre-season. And this is what it's all about, being a young lad, isn't it? You need that chance. And yeah, I've been really impressed with him. Honestly,
he's took it, hasn't he? He's took that chance.
Has. He's done all he can to be in Farke's mind, and he will be in Farke's mind. So, like you said, part of the squad, won't play much, probably shouldn't have to if half centre-backs are fit, and that's fine. He'll develop and he'll learn.
Yeah, fair.
And you've Ampadu ahead of him as well.
Yeah.
So again, like he'll probably fill the Charlie Creswell role of last year, being the centre-back on the bench that doesn't really play, because if we are missing a centre-back, we'll probably put Ampadu back in there and bring one of the midfielders in, and you're fine again. So, but he hasn't let himself down. And again, he hasn't shied away from the game either. He hasn't gone out on the pitch and hid. He's gone out and got involved. And he looks tidy. And probably one of the surprise youngsters coming through. Yeah. Being honest, he was decent, but I never thought he'd be the one to make the breakthrough. I really like Luca Thomas. I think Luca Thomas is an exciting young player. He's only got a 1-year extension, but he's a very exciting young player, and he can get goals as well. Did very well from 21s last year. Sam Chambers, again, another exciting player, but he's a couple of years behind. He was with the 18s last year, so he has time. And then you've Harry, 15s. He's got loads of time. So, but it's nice to see that they're already thinking there's a pathway here for you guys. You're the best of the best, and we reckon we can fit you in here. And they'll be around the edges of it. And it's great for the development that are already involved in the first team training. So that's a huge win.
100%.
Charlie Crew as well. Just looked tidy.
Yeah, I was going to. Yeah.
Especially in the Hanover game. I thought he was really good. His passing range and his calmness on the ball is excellent. I do think it's still a bit to go yet. I think when he plays against an aggressive press, I think he'll struggle with the intensity a little bit.
I don't think he'll see many minutes, Lockie.
That's fine.
I think
he'll play for 21s. It might come in if it's needed.
Everyone
off the bench.
I think they will. I'm not saying they were likening him to Archie, but a lot were saying, but Charlie Crew, big city. And I'm just like, relax a little, give the lad time. Not everyone is Archie. Not everyone can play 45, 50 games. You need to take your time. I don't think we'll see him for a few weeks, really, because we've got Gruev, Rothwell, Ampadu, and another to come in. I don't think we'll really see. We might see him against Middlesbrough. I tell a lie, and that's the second game in the Carabao. But I don't think we'll see an awful lot of him. But that's fine as well, by the way. Like, I'm okay with that.
Honestly, I say if we get another midfielder in, there could also be an angle where he might have a loan. You don't know. I think this pre-season's a test that he can play at a senior level, and a lot of loan clubs will like a player of his quality. Yeah. So you never know. That might be an option as well. You never know. But I want him to. I don't know if I want him on. I want him to play. I think I'd like him on loan. I think that'd be good. I think it'd be good for him. Good for us. But,
that's fair.
I think you might see him coming off the bench though for the last 15 minutes of a game, or 10, 15 minutes, just get minutes under his belt. Yeah. He is a full Welsh international now, so if you are a team that's looking at bringing him in on loan, you are bringing in a 17-year-old full international at the same time, or 18-year-old full international at the same time. But I think it's different to Archie, and you can't put the same amount of pressure on it. I would say give Charlie some time. He's got plenty of it. Why rush it? He's looked fine when he's been in the team. He's had a couple of moments as well where there's a bit of an experience there where he nearly snapped the guy's leg against Harrogate, which wasn't nice. So there's those little bits as well. And like you said, once the speed of the game goes up and the intensity and the physicality goes up, he has that in his locker. You don't want to see him get that kind of stuff. So you've just got to be careful with him, mind him, look after him, give him the right amount of exposure, but not overdo it. And then, again, as Lockie said, if an option to go out and be in a League One loan comes up, take it. Go out and get those first 10 minutes and get that experience under your belt. Somewhere where it doesn't, you can do the negative stuff, which is why I always say you put someone out on loan. It's because there's a lot of edges need rounding off young players. And that means a lot of mistakes. You will get mistakes with young players. But if you loan them out, they make those mistakes somewhere else. And they learn to deal with those mistakes somewhere else. So by the time they've come back to you, they've kind of got that out of their system. They come back to you a bit more rounded, a bit better, and that's the whole point of them. So, again, he has plenty of time. Why not look at it?
And I guess the rest, Sam Chambers, Luke Thomas, Harry Gray, we're not expecting them to feature. Yeah, 21s.
No.
Yeah. 21s for them. I do want to talk, because a lot of people were mentioning his name and we've not touched on him yet. Brendan Aaronson. Jack said, am I the only one missing it? How is Aaronson a winner? Loses the ball a lot, misplaces passes, poor decision making. There seems to be a lot of divided opinion on Brendan's performances in pre-season.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed watching him play.
Fine.
I wanted to get what your thoughts were.
But if we're parking what's happened in the past, which we think at this point now we have to, because we have to move forward. It's happened. It's happened. He's played 2 games, 2 half matches. The first one against Hanover, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was busy. I thought he was involved in the game. He was linking it very well with Junior Firpo. They had some exciting moments in that game. They were very nice to watch. The Schalke game was a different game. We defended for the first 25 minutes of that game before we ever came out. So you can't really judge any of the front 3 players because they weren't involved in the game we were defending at that point. But we defended for the first 30 minutes, I think, of that game before we actually started to really come out, which also, by the way, is a really good thing to see in pre-season as well. And nice the managers just sit in for 20 minutes and let's just deal with it, because you have to be able to do that as well. But I thought when we did start going forward, he was very well involved in the game. So for me, I don't think he's a loser in this. I think he's looked okay. I'm happier with than what I thought I'd be with him coming back in. So fine, no problems. Just again, he's a bit further behind people, and he's only played 45 minutes. So there's a huge amount into it.
Yeah, there's still a lot to go. He didn't play last year as well. Most of them players there understand Daniel Farker and what he wants. He's literally been here 2 weeks, but that's it. But he's had a handful of training sessions. He's had to get up to fitness first, so he wouldn't have been in team training. He'd done his fitness stuff first, and he's played 2 halves, I think, and he's playing on the wing, which is predominantly a new role for him. He hasn't played there for a sustained period. So I think there's a lot to learn, and I think that's why he's playing him in this position. He wants him to learn. And we've got to give him a little time for that. Luckily, we have enough players in the side where he can learn. He can take a month or whatever to really understand his role and what he needs to do. Look, Brendan Aaronson, I've said this all along, he's not the guy who'll get you 20 and assists and goals a season, is it? He can improve that, and he needs to improve that, definitely.
Yeah.
But he's a lovely player on the eye when he's on it. We can't deny that. Look at the quality assist he had again for Hanover. That's a bit of quality that we don't really have players that do stuff like that. And I still think in times against Schalke, when them little 1-2s he does, where he does a 1-2, comes inside, then gives it out, that's really nice play. I don't think he lost it too much. I think everyone lost it a bit against Schalke. I remember Ampadu losing it at times. Even Nonto lost it at times. We've got to look. If people don't like him, that's fine. He's not there yet. But I do think I've seen enough this pre-season to keep me excited. And you never know, he might turn up against Valencia, our first game of the season, and tear it up. Because I still think he's much better than all these championship defenders he's come up against. Yeah.
It'll be a tough test next Saturday, won't it? That's for sure. Very tough test.
Yeah.
We might actually lose that, I think. We might lose that. And then everyone will be going, oh my God. But you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah. Right. I just want to see us compete. Solid.
Yeah.
As long as the tempo's high and we're being aggressive. I like we've got a bit of aggressive streaks. I quite like it. As long as it don't go over the edge. Control it. But yeah, as long as we do those things, Fark will be happy with that. As long as we do the basic stuff he wants.
Who did we beat? Was it a Spanish side as well in Ellen Road before the start of our last Premier League season? And we battered someone, and Bamford scored a couple of goals, and you were like, "This is great," and then we ended up getting relegated. Who was it? Monaco, yeah, and then you end up getting relegated. Yeah.
We look.
If you're a Valencia fan coming into that game,
but Bielsa's pre-season were notoriously terrible, by the way.
Oh, they were awful.
They were bad.
It's not about results, though. It really, at the end of the day, if Farke comes away from these games and he hasn't won anything, but the team is fitter, is doing the things that he wants to see, he'll be fine with that. The result does not matter. No. Again, I mean, Schalke made no changes yesterday, not one. Leeds emptied the bench, it's just a different thing. If you're a Valencia fan, you fully expect them to beat Leeds next week. And if you're a Valencia manager, you would expect going into that game, first game before their season as well, you expect to win that game. So if Leeds get anything out of that, the performance is the most important thing. And just, getting down to the final thing, you'll see more you'll see more prepared set pieces next week. You'll see more structured corner routines and all that kind of stuff next week. That's the kind of stuff you'd be looking for in that game, just to get ready for next week.
Boys, just to finish up, go on, Lockie.
I was just really quickly, one thing from the game that I really liked in the second half. I don't know if you saw it, but the entire coaching staff and Daniel Farke sat down and said nothing. They were sat there. They took Ampadu off as well. So what that is doing, a problem for me last year was responsibility and accountability, right? I said it so endless times. That was a big issue at times for me. So him doing that is making those players on the pitch make the decisions themselves, get themselves out of the difficult moments. And I really like that. Just a little thing I saw, a little coaching thing that I like, making the players, because you got to remember on a football pitch, when it's loud, you won't hear most of the messages the manager's saying. You have to have the ability and actually the bravery to change games yourself. And I think that was the responsibility you put on the players yesterday. And for that second half, for most of it, we were very good, I thought. So that's one thing I liked as well, just a little thing.
Good times.
Team talk, I know reckoning, which
Sarah,
again,
I've seen it, bro. It's bullshit.
Sarah.
We're not going in
Team
for
talk,
Sarah, man.
17 million.
We're not
back to
buying
bed.
Sarah. Yeah,
that guy could go
not
to
for
a
that
Champions
money, we're
League
not.
side.
yeah. There's no way Sarah stays in the Championship if he's sold, which he will be sold, but he won't stay in the Championship.
He's a good player. He won't.
Yeah.
No.
And do you know what as well? Like, I don't know. I'd get your opinion on it. I mentioned it when I did the Lubicic video. It almost feels like Farke wants an 8, but not like a too outlandish of an 8 that's just all out attacking. He still needs to have an element of control.
He wants Glenn Kamara with a shot.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. He doesn't want to... Do you know what I mean? And I feel like... Is Sarah that though? But Sarah's more exciting, right? Sarah can play anywhere, but he's going to be like all out, right? And I just feel that he likes a bit of more control over the midfield a little bit.
Farke's midfielders are like that. They always have big... especially look at the Norwich side. Rantic, you got you had Skip. There's loads. There's loads that were like that. So it's what he likes. That's the type of player he likes.
Yeah. And I
don't be surprised if we go into the start of the season with no new additions to what we've got right now.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think the Lubicic one's gone really cold as well, hasn't it? So it looks like they might not been able to get a deal over the line. Do you think?
Had a good game yesterday, apparently, for Cologne.
Scored, didn't he?
Yeah, and their sporting director was like, no, he's not leaving. He's got 1 year left, and they're doubling down on he's not leaving. So either the bid goes up, or Leeds look elsewhere. I think Leeds will look elsewhere.
Yeah, I think so. There's some crazy talk about Jay Fulton, weren't they, at one point for like $500,000 off some mad account as well. Like,
he was supposed to be signed, sealed, and delivered yesterday. On Friday with medical and all done, which is bullshit.
Yeah, crazy.
Back in the season. But Farke said he wants a fullback.
I don't know if that's like. I don't know if you're on about Leeds. I don't think that's going to happen, Jason.
Not us, mate.
Could you imagine that? Yeah.
FIFA.
Let's bring him on.
Definitely.
I don't think there'll be much. I think he's already kind of said it, a fullback and a centre mid. And then he said yesterday he's in no rush.
Yeah.
So he'll wait now until they get closer to the end of the window. He'll take his time now and pick up the two that he wants. He's got enough 100%. Cover now.
Yeah. Right. Before we do finish, folks, I just want to quickly do this. If we were to pick the 11 based on what we've seen far.
Come on, Joe.
No, it's difficult though, right? Like
that's another hour at least, mate.
No, really, is it? I'm just like flashing it in. I think so. Meslier in goal, right?
Yeah,
that's no bother. So we've got Meslier.
We've done this before. We did 2 hours doing this before.
Jaden Bogle right back, Firpo left back. Who's your centre back partners? Strauch and Rodon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's that difficult. Well, I didn't think it was, but.
I think there's a chance that Vobor could start at left centre back and Strauch could be on the bench.
No,
because he's still based on what we've seen. Injury. Based on the fact that he's still coming back from being out for most of last season, and Vobor isn't.
Are we overruling him, Lockie?
No, don't overrule me. I'm just saying that I think there's a small possibility that he might start.
Yeah,
but you know how I feel about him. I'd stick him on the bench for the first month, just because,
Do we go with the back three, or we're going to go 4-2-3-1? That's the main thing.
4-2-3-1.
2
games.
I concede. In midfield, is it Ampadu and one other?
Yeah, I think it's Ampadu and Rothwell.
Well, he's captain in here, so
yeah.
Could it?
Not him. By him in that team, Jesus.
I take legendary Lampard.
Legendary. Yeah. Lampard regen.
I genuinely think it could be Gruev,
I'm not sure. Yeah,
I think it's Rothwell, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from, and I wouldn't be against that either. I've liked what I've seen of Gruev. I like him anyway, but I liked what I've seen of him so far in pre-season. But I think Rothwell gives him.
Do we go?
Yeah, it's a good go. Rothwell, Ampadu, yeah. The thing with Rothwell is you've got a set piece taker who's very good, and the set pieces he's been taking have been very good so far. The corners have been into deep areas and not been front posts. In the front man, he's beating the front man nearly every single time. He takes a good free kick. He's a tempo driver for me as well. So I think he'd start unless he brings somebody else in before. And I think he starts.
Striker will go Joseph. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always struggle with Joseph, and my name's Joe.
Josep.
Probably better put Matteo.
Anybody better off looking for Matteo? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is it like this? It's quite
Matteo J. There you go.
Yeah, we found him. Okay.
That's right. So are we doing what we right? So you said
but it's actually.
Is that
is it not just going to be Somerville, Rutter, Nonto? Is it not just going to be that?
They're there, yeah.
Because we've not seen a lot of Somerville pre-season, but he's going to play.
Nonto was good against Schalke. I thought he probably his best pre-season game yesterday. Looked really dangerous and really involved.
I also liked it in the game where Rutter and Nonto did switch at times, which is when Rutter went on the right, and Rutter was excellent on the right. I don't think he'll start right, but I think there's roles there where they can change it, which is fine.
Crossover, yeah. That's a good side.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. It's very good.
I think you could have Gruev in there as well. You could have Dan James off the, but Perot,
well, that's the question now, isn't it? Now, while that team is there, start talking about your depth. What does that bench look like now?
No,
you've got Darlow, Peru, Bamford, Vober, Gruev,
Aaronson,
James.
That's not a bad. There's a bench you can use. Like
you got Debayo as well, haven't you, as an option? As you know what I mean.
We're selling everybody. We're gonna get rid of them.
I said they were doing it on the cheap. Cheap.
Yep. And they've got a 25 million. They've got a 25 million pound sub, a 35 million pound 10, a 45 million pound left winger.
Yeah, it's going to be good, then it's going to be.
Sure,
good.
It is just full back in it. We need depth. I do want an 8. I desperately want an 8 as well.
Byron was really good yesterday, I felt, but we do need another.
Mention Byron. Byron's so good at doing his job, isn't he? Yeah. He's so good at doing his job. We don't even mention him. We feel bad.
Yeah. Right. Well, folks, I won't keep you too long. We've already done over the hour. Listen, folks, go check out JUSTJOE Leeds United The View. Go check out Ben Lockie Leeds, and stay tuned on here. That'll be it for this evening, and then whatever tomorrow brings, we'll see. It's Monday, innit? So we might get some actual credible links, not Ryan Kent. Somerville said to everyone he's staying in Leeds, and Sarah's coming for a cut down price of 10 million or something. So we'll get some proper stuff this week, I think, 'cause the team are back. So anyway, we'll leave it there. Thanks always for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy the sun. Thanks again, Lockie and Joe.